Today, I want to dive into Medicare planning and how to optimize your plan when it comes to how much you're going to pay for it, what benefits you need to get from it, when you need to sign up for it, and a lot more. Good day, everybody. Chris Heerlein here of REAP Financial, host of Retire Ready TV on KXAN, and host of Wealth Radio every Saturday, 11 a.m. on News Radio KLEJ. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and click the subscribe button down below. Click the bell for notifications. I drop new content on this channel every Wednesday so you can stay on top of the latest. Today, I want to dive into Medicare planning and how to optimize your plan when it comes to how much you're going to pay for it, what benefits you need to get from it, when you need to sign up for it, and a lot more. Be sure and stick around to the end because I'm going to show you a key strategy in getting around higher Medicare premiums. So let's just start with Medicare 101. Now, when I say Medicare 101, I don't say it lightly because Medicare, in our experience, is more daunting than even your Social Security planning. You're approaching age 65 or you're over 65 and your mailbox is full of postcards and invitations and all things around getting educated on Social Security. And you got all these different types of plans and all these different types of options. And you feel like if I make the wrong decision, it's irrevocable. And in some cases, there can be things that are. In many cases, there's things that there's not. And I just want to be sure that you are well educated in this critical decision that can really benefit you throughout your retirement. So when it comes to Medicare, there's a lot of different things and a lot of different types. You got Medicare A, you got Medicare B, C, D, G. I mean, the list keeps going. There's a lot of different things and they all do different things. They all cost different things. But Medicare A, we'll start there. Medicare A is going to be something that you're going to be forced to get onto if you want to ever get a Social Security check. You have to be on Medicare A to get a Social Security check. So when you turn 65, even if you're with an employer covered plan, like an employer high deductible health plan, many employers will encourage you or make you get on Medicare Part A. Medicare Part A is the hospital portion of Medicare. And good news is Medicare A does not cost anything. And then once you are 65, you're now eligible for Medicare B and Medicare D and Medicare F or potentially a supplemental. But the question is do you need to get on that? Well, if you're still working at your employer, it may make a lot more sense to just stay on the employer healthcare plan. You don't have to change doctors, not worry about the networks and everything else. Some employers may make you get on Medicare. Now, if you're getting on Medicare at 65, there's a few things to know. You got options, but there's this window that you got to be sure you stay within. It's a 7-month window. So it's 3 months before you turn age 65, the month that you turn 65, and the 3 months after. If you're 65 and you're not on an employee-sponsored plan, and you miss this window, you will be assessed a penalty. And it's a penalty that sticks with you, believe it or not, for life. It'll be assessed to your Medicare premium for life, and the longer you wait or the longer you delay, that can increase the penalty as well. The Medicare B is going to make your Medicare incredibly comprehensive. This is what's going to cover doctor's visits and all sorts of things alongside hospital care. And then you got Medicare D. Medicare D is something that rolled out in the early 2000s. George Bush signed it into law, and it covers a good majority of your prescription drugs. Now, depending on where you're watching this, literally it's based on zip code. That may dictate your copays and how much out of pocket you have on your prescription drugs. And then you get potentially Medicare F, which is the supplemental. And that really kind of fills the gap on what Medicare A, B, and D doesn't. Or many people consider a Medicare Advantage plan. Depending on your state of residence, depending on where you are, what you're doing, what your health needs are, every person's different. Some of our clients, they go the Medicare Advantage route. Many clients go the Medicare F. But this is where you need to consult with a Medicare specialist. because these are critical decisions. Now, another thing to consider is the timing. So a lot of families, they work, maybe even because they don't have to, but they work all the way up to age 65. That's kind of like this magic number for a lot of you, because you say, listen, I got great health care coverage. I'm in my 60s. I may need it or do need it, already use it. I don't want to lose it. If you get off of your employer health plan before age 65, you've got a couple options, one of which is likely COBRA through your employer, but generally that only lasts 18 months, or you got to go out and get an exchange plan or an Obamacare plan under today's law. That can be very expensive. We see those plans easily in the $800 to $1,000 per person range. Doesn't mean you shouldn't retire early. We just encourage you need to make sure that your portfolio can sustain that budget increase prior to turning 65. Once you get 65, well, there you go. Then you get on the Medicare, and Medicare can be rather affordable and very comprehensive. But today I'm going to talk about why there's a lot of Americans, many retirees, maybe even many of you, that will pay more for Medicare than others. Now, when it comes to Medicare premiums, these things are dictated by your income. The government takes a look at the last 2 years of your tax returns and they go, you got income over a certain limit, you're going to pay more for Medicare. There's 6 different tiers. The more the income, the higher income, the more the capital gains in a given year, the chances are the higher premium you're going to pay. Now, the good news is that if you find yourself in a position where you're going to pay more in Medicare, you're not in a position where it's lifetime. It's not an irrevocable thing. It's something that can fluctuate throughout your retirement. So if you had a big income year, you sold company stock one year, you had a large capital gain on the sale of a home, these are years that you may see an increase, or may cause an increase, better said, in your Medicare premiums. And so this is why we tell people, consult with a CPA and a fiduciary advisor. Make sure that this stuff doesn't blindside you. But here's a key strategy that many CPAs aren't even aware of. It's called the SSA 44 form. And it allows you to notify the Medicare Association that you are retiring in a given year. And, obviously, many people that are working into their 60s, they may be in their highest earning years. And remember, your income dictates your premium. So this SSA 44 form will allow you to indicate, they call it work stoppage or retirement, that you're retiring in that year. And even though your income is high or maybe above the limits, they can give you a once in a lifetime exemption around an increased premium. So retirement is one of the 8 qualifiers on the SSA 44. This can save you time and save you quite a bit of money, in that first year. And this can be used if you're 65, if you're 67. In the year you're retiring, consider the SSA 44 form with your CPA. Hey, quick tip here. Visit us at reapfinancial.com for our latest retirement resources. They're at no cost for our YouTube viewers. Go to Reap Financial right now to download them today. And be sure and leave your comments and questions below on things that you want me to answer and address in future videos. So today, breaking down Medicare, but the thing you've got to know is this. Your Medicare can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars more over your retirement than maybe your next door neighbor or your friend or family member. And that's because your premiums are going to be dictated by your income and your capital gains in retirement. As I mentioned earlier, there's 6 different tiers of income that dictate your premium. And the base premium for the average person out there, Medicare A, B, and D, here in 2024 with the supplemental, you're probably spending between $300 and $400. So again, very comprehensive and rather affordable when you compare it to an exchange care plan or COBRA, Obamacare, that kind of thing. But we've seen families that have done a great job of saving, that have a nice income or have a nice lifestyle, so they have to pool large amounts out of their retirement funds, that are paying hundreds of dollars more. We can see families paying well over $600 a month per person, and that may not seem that big of a difference, but when you consider that monthly, annually, over 2 or 3 decades of retirement, that can result in paying hundreds of thousands of dollars more for the same coverage. You can control this in many cases. We call this the American stealth tax. It's not really a tax, but you're paying a lot more for the same thing. And one of the things that you need to be aware of is the average American out there hasn't saved anywhere near $100,000 to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the idea that you could literally be paying anywhere from $400,000, $600,000, $700,000 over your retirement career in Medicare really pays to pay attention to this. So it starts by identifying how much income you're going to have in retirement. Where are you pulling the income from? Is there ways to reduce that income via getting more dollars or the same dollars out of maybe a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k, bank cash brokerage, things that are taxed more favorably? The problem is, and the reason so many people fall prey to this, is because the bulk of your wealth is in your IRAs and 401ks that have never been taxed. You go to live on the money, it all comes out as income on the bottom line. If you got a nice lifestyle you're wanting to maintain, you've gotten used to, your income likely in many cases is the same in retirement as it was when you were working. And if it's not, let me tell you why it could potentially be. Come age 73 or 75, you got to take required distributions. This is where we see it hit families. This is where the stealth tax kicks in, because if you got an RMD, a forced distribution of $60,000 or $150,000, I know that's a big range, but it's all based on how much you have in those IRAs and 401ks. Once that kicks in, this is where we see the stealth tax kick in, that increase of premium. And this increase, in many cases, after you turn these 73, 75 ages, it doesn't go back down, because every year you're forced to take these RMDs, and those RMDs go up for most people because it's based on your age. The older you get, the more you got to take out, the more the government wants. And so we'll see families that maybe are in the base tier, the $300, $400 range in the first couple years of retirement, and then they jump to the second tier. And the RMD kicks in, and maybe they're jumping to the third, and because it keeps going up and inflation on your budget makes you pull more and more income out, that affects the bottom line, right? And so it's kind of a snowball effect. This is why for years we have counseled families on how to get control of their tax bracket in retirement, position their wealth in a way that they're poor on paper. That's where we want you. Millions in the bank, but income under control. If you do this properly, you're looking at saving big dollars in retirement. When you think about $100,000, $200,000 difference, imagine what that could mean for your retirement, what you could do, where you could travel, the impact you could make in people's lives or causes you believe in. These are real dollars and cents. So as you can see, Medicare is very complicated, but with proper guidance and educating yourself on what you need and what you don't need, you can make really educated decisions here. To learn more about how to avoid the American stealth tax, watch One Strategy to Get Around Medicare Premium Increases.